Good afternoon and welcome to NTV News. I'm Siksha Sharma. Let's take a look into the headlines first. "253 Nepali students repatriated from war-hit Israel. Government continues diplomatic efforts to rescue others." Maoist Center and Nepali Congress leaders take separate claims for Koshi Chief Minister. 8 province lawmakers' signature on both the sides. Parliamentary committee directs concerned authority to stall installation of telecommunication traffic monitoring system, says it require more discussion. And Israel calls for all civilians to leave Gaza City in the next 24 hours. UN says mass evacuation is impossible without consequence. Welcome back to NTV News. Taking a look into news in detail now. 254 Nepali nationals rescued from Israel have been brought to Nepal early this morning. They were brought home on a wide-body aircraft of the Nepal Airlines Corporation. Government officials, including Minister for Foreign Affairs NP South, had gone to Israel to pick them up. Talking to the media at the Tribhuvan International Airport after the rescue flight, Minister South said 254 of the 503 Nepalis who wanted to return Nepal from Israel have been brought in this rescue flight, and the remaining ones would also be brought soon. 54 Nepalis who requested to be relocated from risky areas have been shifted to safe zone in Israel. 4 Nepali citizens were injured in the attack by Hamas militants in southern part of Israel, and one among them has returned to Nepal after the treatment. Another one has been discharged from the hospital, while 2 others are receiving treatment in hospital in Israel. 10 Nepali students who had gone to Israel from the Far West University were killed in the attack by the Hamas group, and coordination is being established with the government of Israel to bring their bodies back to Nepal. According to the statistics of the ministry, there are currently 265 Nepali students studying in Israel and about 4,500 working in various professions and sectors. CP and Maoist Center's Koshi Parliamentary Party leader Indra Angbo and Nepali Congress's Kedar Karki have made separate claims for the post of Chief Minister of the province. The move comes against coalition partners meeting in Kathmandu deciding in favor of the Maoist Center's candidate. Angbo has submitted the signatures of 47 lawmakers, including Nepali Congress, Maoist Center, CPNES and Janta Samajwadi parties. Congress leader Karki has also applied with the backing of 47 lawmakers. That includes 8 from Nepali Congress, 39 from CP and EML. The 8 Congress lawmakers who have signed on both the sides have stood in favor of Karki. Province Chief Parsuram Khapung meanwhile has sought legal suggestion after the problem. The deadline given to political parties by the Chief Khapung to stake claim for the government expires today. Let's take a look into a short break here. More news follows up next. To stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News. We take a look into further developments. The Election Commission has prepared a draft procedure to register a voter name list of Nepali citizens residing abroad and update it 2080. The EC has uploaded the draft of the procedures in its website and urged all concerned to provide their feedback on it. In the draft, it has been proposed to assign the countries for registration of name in voters list of the Nepali people and determine centers by respective diplomatic mission of the country. Nepalis living in abroad could select place and date appropriate for them for biometric collection after filing the form through online system if they want to register their names in the voter list. Anyone willing to provide suggestion on the provisions incorporated in the draft could do so within November 16. The Public Accounts Committee under the House of Representatives has directed the concerned authority to stall the installation of the telecommunication traffic monitoring and fraud control system Teramukos for the time being. The committee's meeting on Thursday directed the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology and the Nepal Telecommunications Authority in this regard, reasoning that it requires additional discussion on the sale of the license of Smart Telecom and the implementation of the Rural Telecommunication Development Fund. The NTA is at work to install the Teramcos to monitor traffic and network and fraud of telecommunication service providers. The technology helps in controlling fraud and regulating the quality of telecommunication service, claimed the NTA. Similarly, the technology is expected to reduce frauds on customers and control revenue leakage. The Karnali province has been declared as the fully vaccinated province. Social Development Minister of the provincial government, Kharga Bahadur Pokhrel, made this declaration amid a program organized by the Karnali province government, Ministry of Social Development, Health Service Directorate. On the occasion, he announced that the province has been declared as the fully vaccinated Karnali province under the theme Utilization of Local Resources, Ownership and Participation. Ensuring full vaccination is the commitment. The province government minister also thanked the health workers who mobilized around the clock for achieving the full vaccination status of the province. Dr. Sangeeta Mishra, Director General of the Department of Health Services, Ministry of Health and Population, said it is notable achievement to attain the fully vaccinated province status for Karnali province despite the geographical difficulties. So far, 72 districts and 3 provinces in the country have declared themselves as having achieved the fully vaccinated status. Karnali has now become the 4th province to attain that status after 34,671 children of 10 districts of the province were vaccinated. And let's take a look into a short break here. International news lined up next. Stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News. We take a look into further developments in the international front, where Israel's military informed the United Nations early on Friday that the 1.1 million Palestinians in Gaza should relocate to the enclave south within the next 24 hours, a UN spokesman said, in what Palestinians fear could be a precursor to planned Israeli ground offensive. The Israeli military did not immediately provide comment on the warning, which came as Israel amassed tanks near the Gaza border and pounded the Palestinian enclave with airstrikes following a deadly Hamas militant attack in Israel. UN spokesman Stephanie Dujarric said in a statement that the UN considers it impossible for such a movement to take place without devastating humanitarian consequences. Dujarric said the order by the Israeli military also applied to all UN staff and those sheltered in UN facilities, including schools, health centers and clinics. Israel's mission to the United Nations in New York did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Hamas' weekend rampage killed 1,300 people and was the worst attack on civilians in Israel's history. NATO will hold a major nuclear exercise next week, the alliance's chief said in an announcement that came after Russia warned it would pull out of a global nuclear test ban agreement. Secretary General Stoltenberg said the move demonstrates Russia's lack of respect and the continued disregard for its international commitments. He added this is reckless and the dangers of the global norms against a nuclear explosive testing. He accused President Vladimir Putin of trying to use this nuclear rhetoric to prevent NATO allies from supporting Ukraine. The Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, adopted in 1996 and known as the CTBT, bans all nuclear explosions anywhere in the world, although it has never fully entered into force. It was signed by both the Russian and the US presidents, but was never ratified by the United States. A quick look into the highlights of what's coming up next. Countries joining in the trial injection of a dengue fever vaccine of Japan. According to the WHO, dengue fever is among the top 10 threats to global health, as 40% of the world's population reside in the areas at risk of dengue. It is one of the fastest spreading mosquito-borne disease and popular in tropical regions. The disease leads to about 20,000 deaths worldwide each year. Dengue fever is caused by 4 dengue virus types, namely Den 1, Den 2, Den 3 and Den 4, which Den 1 and Den 2 account for 90% of the cases. A person infected with the virus type can gain lifelong immunity to that type, but it's still at risk of contracting others. Particularly, repeat infections are highly dangerous since the disease situation is often more severe from the first. Since the start of 2023, Vietnam has recorded more than 90,000 dengue fever cases, including 26 deaths, said the Ministry of Health there. And this brings us to the end of the bulletin. To wrap up, a quick reminder of the top stories. 253 Nepali students repatriated from war-hit Israel. Government continues diplomatic efforts to rescue others. Mao's Center and Nepali Congress leaders take separate claims for Koshi Chief Minister. 8 province lawmakers' signature on both the sides. Parliamentary Committee directs concerned authority to stall installation of telecommunication traffic monitoring system, says it requires more discussion. And Israel calls for all civilians to leave Gaza City in the next 24 hours. UN says mass evacuation is impossible without humanitarian consequence. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead. Namaste.